A core idea behind data storytelling is that different audiences perceive the same stories differently because they consider information through different lenses. What is a fascinating story to some may be less than engaging to others who don't see its importance or don't perceive its Aristotelian appeal. More importantly, stories that focus on some audiences by necessity leave out other stories equally important. Once more, let us illustrate with a story. Each October, countries around the world observe Breast Cancer Awareness Month, sometimes called Pinktober, due to the pink ribbons. Current attention, however, may lead one to forget or ignore that until recently, breast cancer was a topic reserved only to hushed medical discussions among surgeons. Only some decades ago, breast cancer was not a well-known or well-researched topic, in spite of affecting over 1.5 million people every year. Moreover, the silence surrounding breast cancer made it an unstudied and undertreated disease. Worse, when it was treated, surgery took precedence over medical treatment. It wasn't until the stories of suffering women became central and the audience shifted that the deficiencies in care were brought to the fore and became an issue of public interest. Let's go back in time. Late 19th century and early 20th century. Medical books often avoided the topic or any depiction of female breasts altogether, and women were sometimes denied care or told they were exaggerating their symptoms. Breast cancer studies were scarce, as cancer was considered incurable and confined to medical journals. Media stories were few and far between. Just as importantly, with lack of attention came a lack of funding for research. This was reflected in the survival rates. Between 1944 and 1955, only 1 out of 4 women diagnosed with breast cancer of any stage survived 10 years from the time of diagnosis. But breast cancer survivors and their families did not fade quietly into the night. Some early breast cancer activists began questioning the lack of scientific research and lack of media coverage. Mary Lasker, a health activist, attempted to hold a breast cancer fundraiser on radio in the 1940s. She was told that the word cancer could not be said on air. Yet she persevered, and the announcement was eventually broadcast. Soon, support programs such as Reach to Recovery started talking to women directly, lending an ear to their questions and concerns, and providing a support network. Yet, the standard of care remained simplistic. Often, women went into the operating room anesthetized for a biopsy. In the same procedure, surgeons would decide, without informing those women or asking for consent, to remove not just the malignant tumor, but also the breasts and often ribs and chest bone. Women woke up to discover a large portion of their chest gone. Demands for prior consults and less invasive procedures were criticized by surgeons as foolish and stubborn. In the 1970s, the former child actor Shirley Temple Black, First Lady Betty Ford, and Vice First Lady Happy Rockefeller, personal accounts of their diagnosis took the disease from a taboo to household topic. This initiated intense media scrutiny of the degree to which surgery versus prevention and medication can alleviate treatments and increase survival rates. A study by Corbett and Mori looked at 30 years, 1960 to 1990, of breast cancer coverage in North American popular and scientific media, compared it with level of funding and incidence rates of breast cancer. They found that media attention spurred women to seek medical care. They also found that when celebrities spoke, both funding and media coverage increased. And the more the media covered breast cancer, the more scientific journals published breast cancer research, which in turn created a virtuous circle of media coverage. Today, breast cancer research, fundraising, and awareness are widespread, although there is still much to learn about the disease. The 10-year survival has climbed from 50 to 75% by the turn of the millennium. While we may still have much progress to achieve, the activists who shared their stories and brought to light the impact of breast cancer on everyone's life and the possibility of recovery have made the hope of a cure possible.